Joy Behar of The View. Take a look.
This little nerd is causing he's like one of the more evil people. Trump must be so jealous. I mean, he's becoming like the most evil person on the planet, this guy. And something has to be done. And I don't understand why it isn't just like that, done like that, since we are controlled to tell the truth.
Okay, so this is what I don't understand. Mark Zuckerberg donated all of that money, up in the millions of dollars.
Yes.
Up in the millions of dollars to these left-leaning liberals and to Democrats and to these Democrat candidates. Okay, it's being alleged. I'll say it like that, just in case I ain't got the number right.
Just in case.
And all of a sudden, it looked like these left-leaning liberals, including Joy Behar, is calling him evil. Like now he's no good. So what I want to know is, what is it that y'all want Mark Zuckerberg to do and he won't do it?
That's right. And she has some nerves calling him evil. Has she taken a look in the mirror?
I know. And another thing, instead of just going out to Facebook, you ought to be going out to Twitter, YouTube, and even Google.
That's right.
Go out to all of them.
That's right.
Because they the one to have our country under control with their narrative.
That's right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. And so I was just taken aback by this here. But somebody else, some of you said something. Take a look at this.
One of the biggest problems in our nation right now is that we don't have a shared reality, and Facebook is a big reason why we don't. We cannot have public discourse in a public square when the discourse is all based on lies.
Okay, it's not that we don't have a shared reality. We don't share the same reality.
Right.
And the reason why is because they always pushing a narrative.
Yep.
They always pushing a lie, and then they want you to believe the lie. It's just like when COVID came out. When we in the midst of this pandemic, when you had other doctors coming out trying to say, okay, this is what we see, all of that was shut down. All we had to listen to was one doctor, flip-flop, Fauci, whatever y'all want to call him.
Yeah.
Fauci the dog slayer.
And if you look at it right now, you have Facebook that want people to live in this virtual reality. And we said that Facebook, if they don't get it together, they would be the face without the book and the book without the pages. But now it looks like they don't turn to acronyms. META. Make everything Trump again.
Oh, I love it, girl. I love it, girl. I love it. See, this is what these left-leaning liberals do. They only want one type of reality. One narrative. One narrative. And most of that ain't nothing but straight lies.
That's right.
And then they want you to believe it. And if you don't believe it, they have people on The View and other influencer or big-time people to try to think that they can, listen, just destroy you. And I'm not taking up for no Mark Zuckerberg, but I just want y'all to know all that money he done gave. And it looked like the left is turning on him.
They may.
Listen, this is the most craziest thing. But you know what, Sil? I got to move the story along because the other night I saw something so irritating.
What did you see?
Colin Kaepernick. Okay, so he's being featured in this video. He's trying to compare the NFL draft to a slave auction. You all, take a look at this.
Before they put you on the field, teams poke, prod, and examine you, searching for any defect that might affect your performance. No boundary respected. No dignity left intact. Come on, boy, hurry up. Look at that shape there.
Wow.
Look at this.
You know what? Colin Kaepernick is a race baiter.
Yes.
And he wants to be so Afro-eccentric because if you look at his hair, and instead of looking like a black man, to me, in that video, he was the one looking like the slave trader. He was the one looking like one. Because, see, they trying to make him out like he's full-fledged black. He got the little afro and everything, like he really for the cause. This man is worth, according to Celebrity Network, he is worth $20 million. So how is it that he is oppressed here in the United States of America?
Right. And I don't recall no slaves signing a multi-million-dollar contract.
Well, slaves wasn't never drafted into slavery. They were sold into slavery.
That's right.
Slaves didn't have a choice, but these men that's being drafted into the NFL have a choice.
Yeah.
They can go or they don't have to go. Okay. And when slavers, these are the people you want to say that these people are being enslaved, but these people are being paid millions of dollars. These people are filthy rich.
They filthy rich. But see, when your mind is to have a slave mentality.
Come on.
Then you look at everything from a slavery point of view. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's what's going on here when it comes down to I know it's Colin Kaepernick, but I call him Colin.
But you know what? They talk about white supremacy, but don't this look like a little black supremacy?
Yes, ma'am, it does.
Yeah. Because playing in the NFL, that's a privilege, okay?
That's right.
And that's a privilege where he will probably never be able to experience that opportunity again for doing this here.
Right.
I think you lost a lot of people calling Kaepernick. At first you kneel on the flag, okay? And you don't like our flag. And now you put out something like this. The NFL ain't gonna call you back.
No.
Okay, they're not gonna call you back. And what we need you to do, find you another gig. Because race baiting that ain't suiting you too well.
That's right. And here's another thing.
Come on.
Find you a hair pick. And pick that afro out right.
No.
It needs to be even all the way around. No. If you're gonna wear it.
He needs to cut that off.
Cut it out?
No, because he's trying to be something that he is not.
Well.
He's trying to be something that's this man is a millionaire. And now he's acting like a race baiter. Look, McDonald's, Burger King. I was at Cracker Barrel the other day. Them people are hired.
That's
we
right.
need workers.
That's
Go
right.
out there and find you a job because you will never make that much money no more. Because the NFL, I doubt if they ever call you back because of what you do. Well, you got to stop the race baiting.
He better save his coin.
Save your coin.
That's right.
You better stop the race baiting.
Yeah.
Because this do not look good.
No, it
for
don't.
you. Making the NFL look like they are racist and that they're slave traders.
Well, what does that make him? Wasn't he part of the NFL?
Well, in that video, he looked like a slave trader. We'll be right back with more Diamond and Silk, crystal clear.
They are the princes of the kingdom, Charles, Andrew, William, Harry, and young George. When Queen Elizabeth departs, the royal family will change forever. Go behind their gates and watch Princes of the Palace on Newsmax.
My name is Tom Jones. I'm a professional athlete. I've been a professional athlete my entire life. I hold world titles in explosive sports, and I hold world records in ultra endurance sports. The human body is an amazing machine. I'm always doing something different. We're all made up of billions of cells. I've always been a proponent of hydrating myself at the cellular level, feeding myself at the cellular level, and nutrition at the cellular level. As a professional athlete, fruits and vegetables are critical. Whether you're an athlete at my level or you're just going through your day-to-day life, we all need nutrition. When I started researching into Balance of Nature and how they formulate the product and why, I really resonated with that. And when I started Balance of Nature about a month into it, I was popping a wheelie. I'm not letting age define who I am.
Start now by going to balanceofnature.com and don't forget to use discount code NEWSMAX.
People everywhere living with type 2 diabetes are waking up to what's possible with Rybelsus. Rybelsus is a pill that lowers blood sugar in 3 ways. Increases insulin when you need it, decreases sugar, and slows food. The majority of people taking Rybelsus lowered their blood sugar and reached an A1C of less than 7. Rybelsus isn't for people with type 1 diabetes. Don't take Rybelsus if you or your family ever had medullary thyroid cancer, or have multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2, or if allergic to it. Stop Rybelsus and get medical help right away if you get a lump or swelling in your neck, severe stomach pain, or an allergic reaction. Serious side effects may include pancreatitis. Tell your provider about vision problems or changes. Taking Rybelsus with a sulfonylurea or insulin increases low blood sugar risk. Side effects like nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea may lead to dehydration, which may worsen kidney problems. Wake up to what's possible with Rybelsus. Please don't take my sunshine away. You may pay as little as $10 per prescription. Ask your healthcare provider about Rybelsus today.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and I'm here to tell you about my new product from MyPillow, towels that actually work. Watch this absorbency test. Here's another towel that we randomly went out and bought. Here's one of my towels with the nice design. I don't know if you can see this, but you could line a swimming pool with this. This is crazy. Get rid of it. Towels that actually work.
The new MyPillow towels are exclusively made with 100% USA combed cotton with proprietary technology and with maximum absorbency. They dry you faster and are guaranteed to work.
I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow. And to thank you for all your support, I'm going to pass the savings directly on to you. Go to MyPillow.com to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. For example, you get my dog beds for as low as $19.99, or for a limited time, you can get my 6-piece towel sets, regularly $109.99, now only $39.99. The lowest price ever with your promo code.
Log cabin lovers deserve the best. eloghomes.com is the leading nationwide manufacturer and builder of best-priced, spectacular log homes with handcrafted complements. Browse hundreds of cabins and thousands of interior pictures on our interactive website. Register today and qualify for an additional 40% off any log home and thousands of dollars in additional free handcrafted accessories. Register now at eloghomes.com.
Oh, this world's a little crazy. Oh, you are mine.
We need more than a fox to guard the liberal media. Turn to the smart, conservative news that you can trust. Newsmax. Real news for real people. Newsmax cuts through the noise to deliver the inside look and breaking stories you can trust. No bias, no BS. Unintimidated and unafraid. Every minute, every day. Don't get outfoxed. Get the facts. Newsmax. Real news for real people.
You know what, Silk? Yeah. It seems like there is a nasty game being played when it comes to politics.
Oh, it is.
It is. You know, I'm looking at everything and I'm like, why do things have to be so nasty? Mm-hmm. And it seemed like to me the left will make you feel guilty. They will dismiss your concerns, deny the facts, and then twist the story. That's how they like to do things.
Yeah.
They like these false flags is what they like.
They love the false flag. They love throwing monkey wrenches into the whole entire game. Mm-hmm. And they love to change the rules up in the middle of the game so that they can go along with it. It can kind of fit them, and then they can, figure out how they can try to win the game. Mm-hmm. When I look at it, we came on the scene in 2015.
Yes,
And I saw how when we started and began thinking outside of the box, when it came down to politics, we were awakening to a lot of different things. And what I realized is that they are nasty. They like to scheme and beam. People like to do different things to other people. They like to take videos, slice and dice it up, and make it seem like a person said this or meant to say that. I mean, it's really a nasty game.
Well, I just want you to know that when you all take and make up things or stage things, lying is not defending democracy. A lie is a lie.
It's a lie.
So when you take and you stage things, what you're doing is you are lying to the public.
That's right.
Okay? You are lying to the public. Yeah. And you can't lie to the public and say you are protecting democracy.
That's right.
It don't work like that.
And here's the sad thing about the whole thing. The very people that's doing a lot of the staging are from I would say from the left or anti-Americans that's doing it. And whenever they do it, they try to do it to try to make the other side seem like they are white supremacists or KKK or what have you. And I recall back whenever this one particular group of people did some crazy stuff like that, but they used a black person to make it seem like the other side was a white supremacist. My deal is they couldn't just use another white person from the Biden regime because then they're taking a look up there at the Biden regime.
But when I'm glad you brought up the white supremacy because that's it's like they've targeted.
Yes.
What I see now is I see Republicans, conservatives, people that think conservatively, I think they are being targeted.
Straight up
being
targeted.
Trump supporters are being targeted.
Yes.
And what they are doing, they are demonizing them as if they're nothing but white supremacy.
Right.
And that is wrong. That is a lie. So you stage things, you make up phony things, and all of it is a lie.
A lie.
And it must stop.
It
must stop. You can't say you love America.
Right.
And then do that to the American people.
That's right.
If you talk about the KKK, you must talk talk about the Democrat Party.
That's right.
When you talk about white supremacy, you must talk about the Democrat Party, the ones that all started it, all planned it to intimidate, manipulate in order to dominate. That's why they put that out there.
That's right.
I'm just going to say it like that, and I'm going to leave it like that.
And we'll leave it like that.
Don't forget to download the Newsmax app so each time we drop a new episode, you will receive notification. And don't forget to DVR, Diamond and Silk Crystal Clear. Hey, we was just coming to give y'all the 211. We call it the 211 because it's two of us.
We're the ones giving it to you.
So in the meantime and in between time, we will see you all next time, right here on Diamond and Silk Crystal Clear. Bye-bye.
Bye.
News breaks every minute, every day. You need the app, the Newsmax app. Find it free on your smartphone store. Then watch us anytime, anywhere.
I'm Mark Halpern. Welcome to this week's focus group. It has been a busy week in Washington and around the country. Elections held on Tuesday where Democrats did poorly, including in Virginia, where they lost the governorship that they'd held for quite some time, and in New Jersey, where they almost lost a governorship that the incumbent Democrat was running in. Other races had some success for Democrats, but overall, Democrats mostly acknowledged it was not a good night for them. And in Washington, Democrats are fighting with each other, trying to figure out how to pass President Biden's agenda. So we're going to bring in our focus group for this week. 4 people who voted for Donald Trump in the last election, 4 who voted for Joe Biden. And folks, thank you for joining us. I want to talk about the events of the week in the context of how you're thinking about it where you live all over the country. And Tony, I want to start with you. How do you view the reason that Democrats didn't do as well as they had hoped in the election? What do you think voters were saying with those results?
It was really focused around lots of education was a big part of it. And I think that the Democrats weren't really focused on some of those, the way that the local people were feeling and looking at some of the issues. And it just seemed that they were just a little out of step.
I think this was a referendum on Biden's first 8 months or so. He made a lot of promises on the campaign trail with regard to getting rid of COVID, with regard to keeping inflation in check, and with regard to a lot of passing of bills. I don't agree with those bills, but he said these would pass and he would get things done. And 8 months later, almost nothing has gotten done. And COVID was worse than last year. Inflation is terrible.
No,
COVID is better. And you can't say it's not.
More people are on pace to die this year than last year, and we've had a vaccine out for all of this year.
He can't pass bills without a complete majority, and so he's not getting any cooperation. Honestly, I don't see that Virginia was a referendum on the Biden administration. I see that Virginia was really more localized, and that there was a lot of energy from there may have been the RNC and the DNC in the background, but I don't really see it as a play on the overall national.
I think it's not so much what they haven't done in terms of the Biden administration. I think it's more about what they have done. Things like open borders, no support for law enforcement, supporting CRT in schools, inflation, high gas prices, leaving Americans in Afghanistan. I think this is what people were responding to. I think it was a much broader. I do believe with Naresh that it was a referendum, and New Jersey was another example. It was a different issue in New Jersey. It wasn't about the education so much. I think it was an aggregate of a lot of things that the Biden administration has done that people aren't happy with.
If you think about your own communities and you think about the two parties in the context of what's happened during the Biden administration and this election, raise your hand if you think Republicans in general, where you live, are more energized and angry about the status quo than Democrats. Raise your hand if you think Republican voters are more energized where you live. All right, so that is, Nina, you going to vote or you're keeping your hand down? All right, so Sarah joins the Trump voters and saying Republicans are more energized. Robert, what's energizing Democratic voters where you live now?
Well, I think it's not one or the other. In Illinois, we're not really seeing that kind of tension. I mean, we see what's going on in like Washington and Virginia, and that's another state's problem. Illinois is so Democrat heavy
What are Democrats where you live fired up about? Not necessarily in the context of an election, but what issues are Democrats either angry about or excited about where you live?
I think Democrats are angry about not getting stuff passed on the Biden agenda, and certainly the Texas law.
Well, what would you like to see passed on the Biden agenda?
You know, honestly, at this point, anything. I mean, there's such. I think the stagnation is such a mess that I think that's what's really kind of like get something done, and I think that's what's really torquing people up.
Folks, there is gridlock in Washington. That's apparent. I want to go around and ask you all for one name. If you were to say one person who you say is most responsible for the Democrats not being able to get stuff done during this presidency since they passed a big COVID relief bill, who's the one person you would identify as the main problem? Naresh?
Joe Manchin, Kristen Sinema.
All right, you snuck in two. That's good. Ralph?
I would say Joe Manchin is probably the person I would select.
Okay. Robert?
I'm going to have to go with Mitch McConnell.
Okay.
Let's cooperate.
Okay. Claudia?
Nancy Pelosi.
Okay. Anita?
I'm going with Mitch McConnell.
Okay. Lynn?
Thank God for Joe Manchin.
Okay. Sarah?
I'd have to say Pelosi, unfortunately.
Okay. And Tony?
I'm going to say that it's probably Mitch McConnell as well.
Okay. Joe Biden, the president's approval rating has gone down over the course of his presidency. It's probably in the low 40s at this point. Raise your hand if you think by the new year, by January, his approval rating will be higher than it is now. Raise your hand if you think his approval rating will be higher. All right. All right, so three of you do. Let's start with Ralph and then Anita. Ralph, what do you think will make his approval rating go higher?
I think you reach a certain point where the likelihood is you won't go any lower, and he's got to do something right. And at this point, he's done everything wrong, in my opinion. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Anita, what makes you think it will go higher?
I do believe that both the infrastructure bill and the soft infrastructure bill are both going to be passed. Mm-hmm. Of course, we've got budget that has got to be passed too before the end of the year. I think that's going to help. But I think things are going to also calm down a bit. There's just, so much angst and angry folk, both in Washington and some outside of Washington as well. They're just using issues like CRT